Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna do another speed build in the Sims 3, and this house is more of a modern and chill house. It's very contemporary and something that I see a lot of being built here in Brazil currently. I think for the last like 10 or 20 years houses have been built kind of like this. So I hope you enjoy. Please subscribe if you like the Sims content and other games content, and give a like on this video and comment what room did you like best. So today we're once again in St. Clair's. I think that's my favorite word to build, and right now I'm just putting down the layout of the house, like the major foundation and that kind of thing. This is not a big lot, it's kind of a small one, and I kind of wanted to do like a home for a couple of scenes or even just one scene. It's not really a starter because I cannot keep a budget, and the idea is that it's a little bit later on in the game if you like to play with just a couple of scenes. And what inspired me to do this in a modern way is actually that door. The door that I put down as the front door is what inspired me to do this as a modern one. And the layout for this one was a bit tricky. I kind of struggled, as you're gonna see in the video, to put like bathrooms in and that kind of thing, but I think in the end it turned out okay. The roofing for this was also kind of challenging, but I think that in the end I came up with a way to make it like work. Basically, with diagonal walls it's always a struggle to actually get the roofing right, so I just decided to put like a flat roof on the diagonal parts because I kind of feel like it's an expansion of the actual house, so that's why I did that. And then for this outside I chose like a stonework kind of texture for it. I really like stones in like the buildings and that kind of thing. And for the actual bump outs I decided to go with a black cladding. I think that works out really well, brings a little bit more of contrast for the build. And yeah, I decided to put those windows down. I love them, but I never use them. I really like the idea of having that, I think it's called picture window, but I never put it on my builds. I don't know why, so I'm trying new things with this one. And as usual, I'm just putting down some landscaping. I really like to always add a lot of plants and flowers and that kind of thing to my builds. I just think it makes it all look so much better than if you don't. So that's why you will always see me putting down a lot of plants. And here I decided to use terrain paint for the entrance of the house, just because it matches with the stoneworks that I put on the walls. And I just like it. It just like whenever I look for like flooring and that kind of thing, I cannot find something that actually matches what I want, so the rain paints are always a nice way to go about that. And then since everything is very much kind of colder, I decided to just go with a wood for the flooring on the pretty much the whole house to warm it up a little bit. I like when there's that kind of contrast. And here I'm just doing like the entrance landscaping a little bit. I always like those tall bushes, I think they look nice. And for the back, since this is a lot that overlooks like the ocean of St. Clair, I thought it would be nice for it to have a lot of big windows with a lot of glass, and it just lets the light in and you can actually see the ocean from the house. And here I'm trying to put down the kitchen. I struggled with the kitchen because I wanted it to be on that side of the house, and that small room that I had on the front, I thought about doing like an office, but in the end it didn't really work, and I just went ahead and put the kitchen in there. I think in the final result it looks a lot better with the kitchen like tucked into that corner, and I really like this kitchen. I think it turned out really great. And then the office just went to the opposite side of the house. But yeah, like once again, I'm bringing in those wood counters. I think that they always look kind of nice. It's a smallish kitchen, but you know, they don't need a lot of space, and everything is very accessible, so I think it's gonna be easy. And this is just like a true Sims house, I think it's gonna work out fine. So for the wallpaper on the inside of the house, I just went with this plain white wallpaper. I think it looks really nice. This is not a minimalistic house, but it's not really a cluttered house. And just for the kitchen, I put this tiling as a backsplash just to make it feel a little bit different from the rest of the house. And I think it turned out really good. I really like that texture like of the tile. I think it looks really nice. Once again, I never use a lot of the things that I'm putting down here, but the kitchen is pretty basic. Like, we don't have that many options in the Sims 3 for counters, and I feel like what we have kind of works, so I don't really download a lot of CC content for counters. I don't think it's necessary. But now I'm putting up the kitchen, making it look nice, making it look like actually Sims live there. And I just really like the result. And as usual, I'm just painting the ceiling. I really like to paint the ceilings just for the videos because I feel like they look nice and it looks incomplete without it. So yeah, I put a lot of windows on the bump out. The idea is to have a lot of natural light going into this house. It's like a really bohemian kind of vibe. If you watch my videos without the voiceover and my face, you will see that I put music that is kind of like modern bossa, since I'm from Brazil and this house was kind of inspired by what I see here in Brazil. I thought it was really a nice compliment for the video. So yeah, if you like some chill, cool bossa, just relaxing music, you can head over to my channel and watch this video without me talking about it. And here I'm just figuring out the layout for the living room. I wanted to keep it kind of separate from the entryway in some way, but the walls were just a little bit much and I never used that screen. So once again, I decided to use it just to mix things up and keep it interesting. The Sims 3 is an old game by now and I have been playing it from the start, like from launch I have been playing the Sims 3. So I always try to bring new ways to play it and make it interesting in a way. So yeah, just using objects that you don't usually use, that kind of thing works out very well for me. I also struggle a little bit to put down things on those diagonal walls. I have like this, I don't know what you call it, like this furniture piece that you kind of put like artwork on top. Right now, that's gonna change later on the video. It was kind of hard to find out put there, and I did something here that I really like, but I ended up not really keeping it. That is to put like plants that are faceless on top of other vases. You can do that with move objects on, and it looks really nice because you can actually change the vase of the plant that you're putting there. So yeah, that's the office, and now I'm moving on to the living room. The office doesn't have anything really special. It's just like a desk with a table with a computer and a chair. Nothing fancy, but it looks out that picture window, which I feel like it's cool. And for the living room, I also kept it simple. I really like that. I don't know if it's a painting or a lighting or whatever it is from Into the Future, but I really felt that it complemented the space, so I decided to go with that. And when I build living rooms, I always like to put armchairs in there and then a bookcase because, you know, the Sims gotta build their skills and books are a big way to do that. So yeah, that's just me there. And on the diagonal wall, I decided to put a telescope there. I know it's not necessarily gonna see the sky because there's a house right next to it, but what the hell, let's just put it there and then they can build their logic skill like that. I also really like this coffee table with the plants on the bottom. I think it looks so nice, and I actually went to Moscow a while back and we went to a restaurant that had tables with like moss and things like that on the table. It was so nice, it looked so good, so I kind of feel like I'm emulating that with this table right here. And then on the entranceway, this is also a little bit of a challenge to furnish, but I ended up going with a dresser and a chess table because it was empty and the chess table fit. So I thought, why not? Another way for them to build their skill. And it's also kind of entertaining to play chess for them, so it works. And then for the lighting, I just went with very simple fixtures, nothing fancy. It doesn't really match the house to have something that is really fancy. I always like to put like some sort of chandelier on top of the dining room table. And for this one, I went with this really modern one because it kind of fits. Now for the first bathroom, it was a struggle. And you will see in the video that I started putting like a bathtub with a shower and that kind of thing, but then I realized that I didn't have anywhere to put the laundry, so I changed it, put the shower and then the washing machine. And I tried to put a clothesline in the lot, but it looked ugly. I didn't like it. So I ended up just taking out the shower and putting a dryer in there as well. I really wish we had those dryer and washer combos like we have here in Brazil, a lot of them. Like I have one that it's just the two machines each one, because it would make life a lot easier in terms of building small houses in the Sims. But I could look for CC for that, but for now we don't have it, so it just works like that. So I just decided to do like a half bath with the laundry on the front of the house, and I think it works out really well. And then I obviously put a curtain on the window because, you know, you gotta simulate the privacy there. But yeah, I think it turned out okay. I think it turned out good. And here I'm just putting down my favorite flowers, and I like to decorate, especially on more modern houses, with stones. I just feel like it looks good, and I need to do that more actually. And then just to light up the entrance, I wanted to put those icicle pendant lights, but they don't really give out a lot of light, so I decided to also put a candle because it gives out more light, and you know, just to make it look nice. And here for the second bathroom, that's the ensuite bathroom, I went with a funky shape, but it kind of works. We don't have a bath, but we don't really need baths in the Sims 3. Showers work just fine, so I just went with that. And then to kind of give it privacy from those big windows, I went with a lot of plants and then this custom content shade that I downloaded a while back. And the bathroom, I think it turned out okay. I always like to put some artwork in there because I always like to have that moodlet of nicely decorated on the scenes. I think it makes it easier to play. So that's why I'm always putting a lot of decorations on my builds, because you get the moodlet, like it has an actual purpose besides looking pretty. So I'm just choosing like a painting. I decided to go with like a movie poster, and I think it works. And now for the bedroom, again, modern furnishings. I really like this bed. I think it looks kind of interesting with the asymmetrical headboard, and this wardrobe is actually a constant content as well, and I just felt like it matched it. And here I'm putting down the side tables. So the side tables on the Sims 3, they clip to the bed. So one thing that I always do when I want to put it not necessarily where this game want to put it, I just take the bed out and then place the side table where I want and put the bed back in, holding alt and that kind of thing. So, you know, it turned out okay, and I really liked it. Just putting down a rug, also some content. And then here I decided to put a dresser. I know they have the armoire on the other side, but I feel like a dresser really complemented the space. And I also put like an armchair, and on the bedroom I decided to put an easel so they can practice their painting. And once again, this house is not that big, this lot is kind of smallish, and I kind of didn't want to build a two-story house. I just wanted something flat and simple. And obviously later on, if you're playing with this house and you like start a family or something like that, you can just take out the bedroom and go up a story and do more bedrooms on the top and just put like a study in there. Anyway, it kind of works out if you want to renovate this in the future. But you know, for now it's a one bedroom. It's just for a couple of Sims. Yeah, so now we are moving on to the backyard, and I think I did such a pretty good job with the backyard, if I say so myself. I wanted to make it like a more entertainment focused backyard here, and how I did it. So for the roofing, I didn't want to extend to the back. I just felt like it would look kind of heavy, so I decided to go with a pergola. And here I'm just building it out from facing, and then these windows, like it's kind of a carpet, but it's like a transparent window from into the future. And I think it turned out really cool. And this is what like I'm most proud of. I never ever use these lights because like it's weird. Where can you match it, especially in a home? If it's like a commercial lot, I can see it, but in a home it's harder to look to put it down and make it have sense, like make it work. So I came up with a way that is very much disguised into the plants that I'm putting down. So I'm putting these bushes in between them, so it kind of looks like the lamp is kind of hanging from these bushes. And then I just put a bunch of this foliage on top of the bottom of the lamp to disguise it and make it look like a natural planter. And I think in the end it turned out really cool. Like I really like this idea of having like the lighting kind of integrated with the landscape. I think that looks really really cool in real life as well. So, and it kind of works like a privacy fence as well. So I really enjoyed that. I think it looks really cool. So now I'm putting down the barbecue. Here in Brazil, we have a big barbecue culture. If you ever have the chance to go to a Brazilian steakhouse, I think you're gonna have a lot of fun. That is if you eat meat, obviously. But I always put barbecues. I think that's my Brazilian side speaking. Like you can't have a house without a barbecue. And it's kind of funny that in the Sims 3 you have these ones that are very, I think, American types of barbecues, because here we actually build our barbecues out of like brick, that kind of thing. It's very different than what we see in like our standard American media or that kind of thing. So yeah. And now I'm just putting down some trees. I don't like one thing that I don't like about the trees in the Sims 3 is that they are so big, and like you can't really put that big of a tree with a house that isn't that tall. It looks weird, right? So I always keep to like the same trees because of their size. It's kind of boring, but at the same time, I mean, it is what it is. It is what works. And I decided to put a pool in the backyard. I know that we do have like the ocean just a couple of steps away, but I also wanted to put in a pool. I think it looks good. I like how it complements the space. Obviously, if you want to play in this house and you want to like garden or something like that, you can just take some of the plants out, maybe do an enclosure there. So once again, the zombies don't get to your gardening things and eat everything. But yeah, I just went with that. And then like I was kind of finishing up, I remembered that I should put like a parking space, so I just put it out to the side. It's not that big of a deal, it's not a big house. And like in the Sims 3, you don't really need a parking space. Like you just need to buy the car and place it, and then the Sims can keep it on their inventory. So it's not that big of a deal, it's just an aesthetics thing. And I decided to put a fire pit too. I think it's always nice, especially because I do play seasons, and then I can have my Sims like grill marshmallows or whatever they have in the inventory over the fire pit, and I just think it's okay and cool. And here I'm just doing some fencing and then finishing touches, and I also went in with more plants on the other side just to make it look cohesive with the other side of the build. And when I put the loungers down, I always like to put also a little table, because as I'm thinking like, oh, they could put like their drinks there in the table, and I just think it looks really cool. I'm also putting down rugs on the three entrances that we have in the house, because kind of clean your feet before you enter your house, you know. And then just working on some lighting for the outdoors. I always like to light up my outdoors. I think it makes it look a lot better when you're playing, and also kind of helps, because if something happens out there and it's nighttime and you can see it, you can't lose something. And what I decided to do for the backyard here with the lighting is to use those string lights, and I kind of hung them in poles. As you can see, I put like 3 poles on the side. I just think it looks so good. Like I really like this, and it gives out a lot of light. So on the other side, since we have 2 trees, I just put a pool in the middle, then hung it like it's like stuck to the trees. And I think it turned out really, really cool. I really like that. I think my favorite part of this build is actually the backyard. I really, really like that. I think it turned out amazing, and I really enjoy it. So now I'm just putting down the finishing touches, a couple of planters so they can plant something, and some kind of like basic thing. I always like to put down like planters, and then the Sims can just put something there. I think it looks nice and it doesn't take a lot of time to take care of. That's the most important thing, because the gardens in the Sims 3 take a long time to take care of. It's like a struggle if you have a big garden. So yeah, I feel like I did a really cool house. It's not that cheap as I mentioned, but it has a lot of things, and you can have a lot of fun with this house. And in the end, I just end up putting some well lights here. This is from Debug, and it just gives the place a lot of lights. I hope you enjoy this build. I think it turned out really great. And if you like it, give it a like. If you want to see more content like this, I also plan to do some more videos with other games. And subscribe and leave a comment down below what room you like best in this build. Thank you.